a suit and tie and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
And I've got a few lines free, 1300 222 774, if you'd like some advice from David Whiting, well-known Melbourne solicitor. Hi, David.
Hi, Virginia.
Have we got any homework from last week?
No, we had the day off.
Oh, lovely. All right, so you've just sort of been kicking back and doing nothing at home there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's not quite the way it's been, but yeah, that's the plan.
It's supposed to be. All right, then we can dispense some advice, 1300 222 774. Unless, of course, you want to go into the Billa-Wheeler matter there with your advice about procedural fairness being denied.
I haven't been a migration agent for a very long period of time.
When were you?
Between 1993 and 2007.
Oh, wow.
I found it to be a fascinating area of law. The real difficulty was that what you were really doing is filling in form after form after form for the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the issue in that particular case was that they rolled up the youngest child's application into everyone else's,
Rather than
it should have been
separating
dealt
it
with
out.
separately. Yes.
Yeah, it's going to get complicated, and of course the government has spent absolute millions fighting this.
Yeah, today's paper says $50 million is what it's cost.
Yeah, that's right, and millions more will be spent, no doubt. Let's help you out though if we can. 1300 222 774. Susan in Glenroy, how can we help you?
Oh, hi Virginia. Hi David. Look, I've lived in my block of units. It's a block of 4, and I'm an owner. And we have a body corporate. The concrete is completely severely damaged. It damages my tyres every time I drive over it. And I've just recently injured myself for the 3rd time and fractured my foot.
How old is the block? How old is the block of units, Susan?
Built in 1978.
Yes.
And I'm really happy living there. It's a really good community, and I just don't know what to do. The body court people have refused to pay. Then last year everybody paid, but it wasn't really enough that they were prepared to pay. And then the people who run the body corporate, they're really dishonest. They're very lazy. They just are not.
So I think then, Susan, what you need to do is replace the manager of the owners' corporation.
The trouble is getting everybody to cooperate with that, and then I have to organise those other owners. And
Susan, you are in. It's almost like a little political group. There are 4 members.
Yes.
You hold a particular view. What you need to do is persuade at least 2 of the others that your view is the preferred view, and you will get what you want.
Okay. All right.
Now, it's quite possible that you might have a claim against the manager for not doing the manager's job properly, but I would have thought the most effective way to do it would be to come up with a strategy that involved a new manager and the work being done on the common property that's clearly damaging your property.
Well, this is it. But they're not cooperating as well. Like the other owners are not.
I understand, Susan, but be reasonable, see it my way.
Yes.
So persuade them.
Persuade them. Okay.
Yes.
Good luck. Good luck with persuading them.
And do you think that I have a case to sue them over the damage to my physical injuries?
You may do. There will be insurance for the common property, so you may. You may also have a damages claim, but I would be sitting down and trying to work out what the long-term strategic answer is rather than the short-term, because you'll end up paying for part of the defence of your claim.
Good luck with persuading the fellow residents there. I've got one here that I've got a number of property ones actually today, so we'll try and do them in a bit of a block here, David, if we can. Jen in Baldwin, what's happening?
Oh, yes. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
And I have a problem with my neighbor. She built a house, and part of the house is over my property. So during the whole process, I tried to alert them that it's not right. And then they
So,
just keep
so
building.
can I ask you, Jen, is the house, was in the place where the house is over your property, was it there before, or has it been extended, or is it a bigger house?
It's a new house, which is built.
And it's over the title boundary.
Yes, definitely.
Then you can go to court and have it removed.
Okay. Because
Right.
I talk to during the process of the building, I try to tell them it's not right. I tell the builder, I tell the building surveyor, and then they just ignore me to get a whole building finished.
So
And
have you
now
had your property surveyed, Jen?
Yes, because I have lived in this property for the last 20 years. There's no change for the fence.
No, but that's not the... You might have an adverse possession claim to land underneath the building next door. They may have built it entirely within their certificate of title, but they may have lost the ownership of the land underneath.
No. Because last week, the building surveyor and the builder did come over the property, did inspect the property, and they did know they need to rectify it.
Then I'd rather be on your side, Jen. It sounds good.
All right.
All right?
Good luck. Good
What
on you,
is it?
Jen. Good to hear from you. Thank you for calling in. Another one, Colin in Euroa, this time about a fence. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Good morning, thank you, and David, with back fence.
Come a little closer to your phone if you can. It's a pretty lousy line. We can barely hear you there, Colin. Hello, Colin? I'm not sure what's... Colin, can you hear us? Okay, we've got a problem. Colin, if you can hear me, I might get you to hang up and call back, and we'll see if we can get you to air in a little bit. Barry in Bulleen, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Virginia and David.
Go ahead.
I got a situation where I engaged a registered building surveyor.
Yes.
And he basically finished all inspections, but issuing a... but I haven't got an occupancy certificate. Just before I got the certificate, and then the Victoria Building Authority cancelled his license for some so-called misconduct for something else.
Yes.
Nothing to do with my project.
Yep.
Now, I can't get the certificate from this building surveyor.
So you'll need to get... And this has happened a couple of times, Barry, where
Yes.
there have been a number of building surveyors who've been found to be... Some people have just let their registrations go and they can't help you. Other people have been found to have been misbehaved. So your difficulty is going to be finding another building surveyor who will finish the job.
Yes, this is exactly because nobody could inspect the framing or the structure of the building anymore because it's already built.
Yeah, all they can do is see the superficial stuff on the outside. They can't do the foundations or anything.
That's right,
Barry,
yeah.
I need some homework. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I will
David, are you there?
Yes.
also apply if the building inspector died. The building surveyor died. So I will find out the answer for next week, Barry.
All right.
All right. Okay. Great.
Thank
All
you.
right.
So if you tune in next week, Barry, we'll have the answer for you then. Do we have Colin in Euroa back on the line? I can't quite tell from the screen. Okay, that doesn't seem to be clear there. Another building one this morning. Kathy in Cheltenham, good morning.
Good morning. My question is regarding a long time established tree. The neighbour has expressed some concern about the roots that are going across to their property, and they're worried that it's going to cause some damage. So I'm just wondering whether, I would be responsible for any damage next door from the roots of my tree.
Yes, is the short answer. If the roots of your tree extend into your neighbour's property and cause damage, then it's your responsibility.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks. Good luck with that. I think Colin back from Euroa. Let's see if we can hear you better this time, Colin. Good morning.
Good morning, Virginia. Thank you.
That's better. Go ahead.
Oh, fantastic. Good morning, David. David, I have my rear neighbour has just built a house on the block. I have a fence there. It's been there for 18 years, and he wants to take it down and put up a colour-bond fence, but he also wants me to remove the fence at my expense and replace it with a colour-bond fence. And I'm not at all happy about that.
Well, the first thing you do, Colin, is you go and take lots of pictures of the fence.
Yes.
Because sometimes, and I don't know your neighbour, so I can't to make any claims, is that sometimes you find when someone agitates for a fence, fences get in worse condition. So your argument has to be, does the fence need to be replaced, Colin?
I don't think so. It's a solid steel post fence that stretches from one side of the block of land to the other.
Is it a post and wire fence? Is it?
No. It's a steel, like a pool fence, really. Yes, like a swimming pool fence. And that you have around your.
So it's a solid metal fence. It's almost like galvanised iron. Yep.
Correct.
Yes. Then your argument, Colin, has to be that the fence is perfectly adequate for our needs. It does not need to be replaced. The answer is no.
Right.
Now, you could then.
Go ahead,
David.
David.
Then have a discussion about what you would do next, about whether or not you'd in fact agree about what you might do.
Right. The only thing that he wants is he says, well, I can see into your yard. And, and you can see into mine. I said, well...
so how high is the fence, Colin?
1.2 metres.
Oh, so it's a very low fence, is it?
Yes.
All right, yes. So his argument then is slightly different. The argument is that the fence is no longer appropriate for the residential area in which you are.
Right.
So that's your starting proposition, right? Your argument was that the fence was perfectly adequate. Are all of your other fences 1.2 high, or are they higher?
No, they're all colour bond on the sides, on the side fencing.
Yes.
But this fence has been there for 18 years, and in the winter time, the deciduous trees have lost their leaves, and he can see into my place, and it doesn't bother me. But
Colin, the question is, in a suburban area, and I'm presuming that you live in the Euroa Township, the question is now whether or not that's an appropriate fence. If it's not an appropriate fence, then he's entitled to go to court and get an order that it be replaced with one which is appropriate.
Okay, so Colin, can you tell us what area you fit into?
I beg your pardon, Virginia?
Well, would it be a suburban area? Is it in the township of Euroa or outside? Or
it's in the town, and the block is had been backing onto paddocks, and prior to that, the developer subsequently.
Okay.
You're probably going to end up with a new fence, Colin.
All right, Colin,
Okay.
I think that's probably the best we can help you with this morning, but I hope that's helpful. Maybe you need to go and have a look at the local rules there, but you seem to be on the money with that, David. Joanne in Mordialloc, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Go ahead.
I'm a registered builder, and I thought I had some valid input in relation to the registered building surveyor issue.
Mm-hmm.
One of my clients, we did an extensive renovation, and we had all appropriate inspections done, and before the final inspection, the registered building surveyor had their licence cancelled for whatever reason. The clients had to pay another registered building surveyor for another permit. It cost about $10,000 for them to take over the project and accept responsibility for the existing permit. That building surveyor has subsequently lost their licence before the final inspection as well.
Ouch.
And we have approached, I would say, 12 registered building surveyors to accept a new permit or to somehow take this on so that they can get a final inspection and cannot find anybody, the VBA will not help, and the clients are at a loss. They have a property that they cannot sell, they can't get a certificate of final inspection, and no one will help us.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in with that. I mean, what it seems to be about is a shortage. Is that right?
No, it's more that there's an issue in relation. Nobody wants to take on. Effectively, a building surveyor offers an element of insurance to an owner of a property. And if someone does the inspections, then you have an issue about who's now responsible if something goes wrong. Yeah. So if I become a building surveyor and I do the final inspection on a property where I've not done any of the earlier inspections, what's my liability? And most people wouldn't want to take on the liability.
No, I can imagine they wouldn't. Let's hear from Samantha in Bentley. Samantha, hi.
Hi. I've got an issue in that I own a property of 8 apartments with a cousin of mine, and I want to sell it, but she doesn't. Is there any way I can sell half of them, or should I strata title them? I just want to know what my options are.
Samantha, you can force a sale of the whole block of units. There are what are called, you need to look in the Property Law Act for co-owned land. You could force a sale, but I would have thought strategically you would want to strata them and you sell your 4 and your cousin keeps her 4. So I would be putting a strategy to your co-owner, saying we either do this or they get sold in a block and a developer gets the profit on the subdivision.
Yeah. Could I sell half of them? I can't. Can I?
At the moment, the way you're describing it to me is there's 8 units in a single title.
Yes.
So the answer would be you could sell a half interest. So someone owns a half interest in a block with your cousin, and that's not going to work. So the process is that you either reach an agreement to do the subdivision and take 4 each, and then you then sell your 4, or you are able to force a sale of the whole parcel.
But if we want to take 4 each, don't we have to legally do it somehow?
You do, but what you would do is you would, I have not seen the physical layout of the units, but what you would logically do...
Blocks. They're in 2 sort of blocks. So
yes, but you could, but then what you're doing is that you're then doing a 2-lot plan of subdivision that have got 4 residences on each one, but I would have thought it would make more practical sense to create 8 separate titles, 1 for each unit, and you would keep 4 and your cousin would keep 4, and then you could sell them as you required.
Okay.
There would be no stamp duty payable by you or your cousin once you had in getting the separate titles for the units.
Okay. Is that helpful?
Yes, that is.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good on you. Good luck with that, because you certainly wouldn't want to have a family falling out about something like that. Let's see if we can squeeze in Alicia, who's calling from Tarneet. Hi, Alicia.
Good morning. How are you going?
Good. What's happening?
So I was driving along and looking for parking, and there was a line of parked cars. So I pulled my car up behind the last car that was parked. And then I looked up, and it was a no standing zone. So straight away, I didn't get out of the car or anything. I put my indicator on, reversed, and then I was about to drive away. In that short period of time, I think it was the council behind me. They managed to get a photo of me and sent me a fine, whereas I was not parked in that no standing zone.
This is there was a presenter at the ABC, Alicia, because at the outside the ABC building in Southbank there used to be a no parking sign.
I know that presenter.
Okay.
And there's a difference between no parking and no standing. You are standing if you come to a complete stop in a no standing zone.
Okay.
So that's the definition of standing. Stopping no standing means no stopping. Now, if you're in a row of traffic, clearly that's different. But if you pull up behind a row of cars in an area that is a no standing zone, then the answer is you are standing.
Oh, okay.
Now, no parking would allow you to stop, pick something up, put something down.
Or check the sign and go, oops, I shouldn't be here, and drive off.
Yes, but no standing means
you shouldn't even be
stopping.
There.
Yep. I think it's a bit rough in that you're only there for a second or two.
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
But technically no standing means no stopping.
And the hard thing, Alicia, it'll be hard for you to argue that, I was barely there for a second. It'll be hard to make that case, won't it? What's the fine, Alicia?
Sorry?
How much is the fine?
I think it was about 180.
Ouch.
There's no reason why you can't go to the council and say, look, if the council had video equipment, you would be able to tell that I really didn't stop there. I realised where I wasn't where I was supposed to be, and you might get the fine waived and you might not.
No, I did dispute it, and they said, they sort of reverse lights on the photo, and they still said, no, you still have to pay the fine.
But technically you've broken the law, the way you described it to me.
And I think that's the end of that. Hey, David, thanks so much for that. We've got a bit of homework for next week. We'll see you then.
Thanks.
And hopefully might even be able to get to see David Whiting here in the studio. Who knows? This on text. David Whiting's show is my most favourite program of the week. Is there a podcast of all 24 years worth of episodes? No. I can tell you that. I miss so many programs due to work commitments. After listening to all 24 years, I could probably pass the bar, says Michael from Leopold. You could definitely be a working suburban solicitor after listening to all of those podcasts. Now, I'm afraid we don't have it combined, but there's a thought. Maybe we should.